Hey everybody, this is FRM Part 1 and a brief 5 minutes of guidance on a handful of topics and some exam tips. I'm Jim and we'll cover the 2 chapters on futures markets and futures hedging and primarily these 3 learning objectives. Let's start with that second learning objective and understand the difference between short hedges and long hedges. To do that, of course, you need to differentiate between the producers of commodities who have a natural long position in the spot market and the consumers of commodities who have a natural short position in the spot market. So there's some examples that you might get on the exam in the question stem: farmers, energy firms, food manufacturing firms, etc. But the important thing here is to identify what position these firms have in the spot market, and then you'll take the opposite position in the futures market. So let me just remind you, the goal of the hedge is to reduce future price volatility, whether that price is on the revenue side or on the expense side. And so you'll have to take the opposite position in the futures market. If we're a producer, we're naturally long, so we take the short position in the futures market, and we do just the opposite as a consumer of commodities. Let's take a look at a quick example here. Let's suppose that we're a firm and we regularly buy gold because we manufacture helmets and spacesuits, 300 troy ounces every 3 months. We know the price of gold is volatile. We've seen an upward trend. Economists expect additional increases in inflation over the next 5 years. So what do we want to do? We want to lock in a future value of the price of gold. What we'll do is pick up the phone and call the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and it will say, hey, we have a gold futures contract. Standard amount is 100 troy ounces. You'll have to put up a margin of $20,000 for each contract. Notice down in the bottom, we are naturally short in the spot market, so we'll take the opposite position in the futures market, which makes sense. Notice what we have in parentheses. We're going to agree to buy gold in the future. So let's do some math here, preliminary math. Number of futures contracts is just the spot amount, 300 divided by the 100. That gets us 3 contracts. There's the current spot price of gold. There's the current futures price of gold. And it makes sense that the futures price is higher than the spot price, especially for 3 months, because of things like storage costs, among other things. The value of one contract is going to be that 4,000 futures price times 100 ounces. So there's 400,000. But we have 3 contracts, so multiply that by 3 gets us up to 1.2 million. Will be required to have 60,000 on margin. Remember those really great conversations we had about the exchanges and clearing houses and the clearing process. Also remember that you're going to have to settle daily for 3 months. I don't think that's a terrific exam question. I think a much better question is to skip ahead, and this addresses that final learning objective. Let's skip ahead to the maturity date of the contract after 3 months. Let's suppose that at the top, the price of gold either goes up, or in the middle, the price of gold either goes down. So notice I have the spot price of gold is 4,400. In parentheses, it's also the futures price of gold, because spot price and futures price will converge, because the spot market and the futures market, on the maturity date of the contract, they essentially become the same market. Now, also recall that, about 1% or so of all futures contracts ever result in the actual delivery of the underlying assets. So we're not going to buy gold through the futures exchange. What we're going to do is we're going to cash settle. So in the spot market, we're just going to go out and buy our gold for, $1.32 million. Notice I have a minus sign there to reflect that that's a cash outflow. But since we took the long position in the futures contract, we win in the futures market. What did we win? Well, you can just see the math there very quickly. And that plus 120, that addresses that learning objective that says something like, calculate profit or loss. Make sure you can calculate that 120. On the other hand, if the price of gold falls, well, we just have the opposite scenario. We're going to buy our gold in the spot market. This time, we're only going to spend 0.02 million. Notice I also have a negative sign there. That's still a cash outflow. But in the futures market, we lose because we had the long position. That's a minus 180. So make sure you can calculate the minus 180 and the plus 120. But I think an even cooler question is if you sum the two numbers above the dotted line, if you sum the two numbers in between the dotted lines, you're going to get, well, let me go back here. You're going to get look at that blue teardrop point, the 1.2 million. You have locked in whether the price goes up or the price goes down, whether you have to pay more or less in the spot market. The futures position exactly offsets. Look down at the bottom right. That's a perfect hedge. Let me remind you that a perfect hedge is when the assets match. So we had gold in spot, gold in the futures, and the timing matched. We were selling our gold on the same day that that the futures contract matured. We locked in that price. We virtually eliminated future price volatility. I hope this was the best 5 minutes of your day. I'm guessing it wasn't. I hope you spent time with your family or your friends or did something more exciting. But how about let's conclude and say this was a really good 5 minutes. So I will see you on the other side for another 5 minutes soon.